What's up, people? Cypher here. This is a basic hero guide to Calgar. Now, Calgar is, I believe, the chapter master of the Ultramarines. This dude is a beast. Now, it's all down to one skill, really, but I'd say two skills. One skill specifically, we'll get to that. So, this is a very, very difficult character to come by. When he was available, he's not available anymore, I don't think. He used to be available solely in the Hero Rescue. There was no purchasing of him or any events that I'm aware of that came through giving him away. The only way you could obtain him is through Hero Rescue, and then you could upgrade him using utility frags so long as you'd unlocked him. So, once you've unlocked him, you really need to get him up to a certain level, really, because you need to unlock his skills. His skills are essential to him. When it comes to Calgar, he is Dreadnought Master. He's always brilliant just to add into a Dreadnought deployment. He's adding those extra little buffs into it as well. You've got Dreadnought HP and Dreadnought Defense within his attributes. But then as well as that, he also buffs up all unit attack, which is something that's, you can't say no to that. That's brilliant. When he comes into a deployment, I'd say he seems to work better in what I would consider a layered deployment than a bulked deployment. Layered being that you're using all tiers, tier 1, tier 2, all the way to tier 9 of all 5 types. The more that it's the same as any type of trigger skill. The more that you put into the deployment, the more likely you are to trigger the skill. With Calgar, he has a very good skill, as I said. Orbital Disruption 3. Now, as you can see here, it states when our army attacks, there is a 14.6% chance to disable the target from attacking for 1 second. And that can be up to 20%. And it's actually, as I said, if you add it into a layer, you see that it will trigger quite often. And in terms of a report, when it triggers, it disables the very unit that it's attacking. Yeah, so it won't disable the entire army, but it will disable the tier 7 eradicators. It'll disable a specific troop, or it can disable a hero as well, as I've seen in reports. So the more layers you have in the deployment, the more likely you are to land against certain tiers and pop off Orbital Disruption 3. Therefore, disabling that tier from doing any attacking, leaving all the little meat shield ones, all the little pygmies or whatever's left to try and fend off the battle. He also has another excellent skill that complements any deployment, really, and that is Zealous Assault 3. Zealous Assault 3 ups your damage ratio, and if you can get them up to max, that can be upped by 78%. That's a lot of damage increase. So it's really good to have that potential paralysis, and also this other potential of just increasing the damage that's been dealt. That's insane. Also, on the side of that, you have a Tactical Expert 3, which is increase the damage our army deals by 20%, that can go up to 31%. I'm pretty certain that's a fixed skill, which Zealous Assault is not. Yeah, it has a 30% chance to trigger. And then in his in-game skill, he basically does exactly what his last skill does, but in-game, he throws down a load of bombs. Crazy load of bombs. And he covers a lot of ground, and he kills a lot of enemies doing so. So it's a very useful skill when being used within the game. He also has hero combos. His hero combos are actually pretty decent. Those percentage ratios, again, could add significantly, as well as that you could be adding other things to it to increase the potential of your deployment. So this is just one of those potential additions, only obviously if you're using the right ones. However, Cronus, Calgar, Agatone sounds dastardly. The Cronus not so much. It doesn't really tempt, that doesn't pull me in so much. Calgar and Agatone together sound evil, because I know they both like to buff the dreads, so that could be quite a complicated deployment, because you've just upped their HP, the hero HP, by 20%. Then the Dreadnought's defense are going up again, even more so than what is being given in terms of Calgar's buffs and Agatone's buffs. So that could be a really deadly deployment. He also works with, let's see, another one with nice choices, which is good. It's not a huge amount, but it's still the ability to create different types of combos is actually a good option, and quite rare if I've seen right through these hero combos. So Calgar can work with Sicarus and Telion as well. And when it comes to that, I'm pretty certain Sicarus may have Zealous Assault. Therefore, you could double up on the Zealous Assault. Telion's got crit. He's also got the speed alteration, so that could create a very interesting deployment. Not to mention, you're then adding an extra 20% on the HP of the heroes, and then 10%, on all units attack, which is outstanding. When adding gear to him, it's always best to try and get the gear, the armor. It's always best to try and get the armor gear blessed. If you can get it blessed to Dreadnought, like I've done with this one right here, then that only helps more. It's going to then add 30% onto the gear attributes that you see above, which is why you see that green next to it. When it comes to rallying or soloing, Calgar can be effective in both. When it comes to the rally side, though, being a leader to the rally, I don't know so much. I'd need to, I don't know enough information on that, but by looking at him just on the standard, I don't think he'd be very good for the lead of a rally. However, he may be very beneficial inside the rally. When it comes to the solo attack, he's pretty darn important. He's got a skill that's so unique, and there's a chance that you can zero some bases that you may not have been able to zero beforehand without him, shall I say, purely because of the fact that you've triggered his orbital disruption 3 and paralyzed their most important tier. Yeah, maybe they've just got one single layer of tier 9s, and that's vanguards, and that whole deployment's a bulk of that, with a few little bits to try and initiate dodge or whatever, and then you disable those T9s. So long as you've got that deployment right, you should roll through and actually create heavy damage, if not a success, for yourself. Calgar can also be used very successfully in garrisoned bases for defense purposes. So if you were to garrison a member's base, if they were being attacked, I used Calgar in the last kill event when sending out deployments to defend bases. And you may have seen a battle report not that long ago that was pretty effective. It was a very nice battle report. We took very little, they took a huge amount. And when assessing the report itself, orbital disruption popped off or triggered a lot. Not only did it trigger a lot, but it specifically as well, as I said before earlier in this video, it disabled all 3 of their heroes. So that then led us to create a bit of a fight back. And to be honest, we succeeded in the defense, and they took very little in terms of troops out. They took very little power out of the base. The only thing left to do really is to send him out against a bot with a few little T1s with him to see how he copes. Is he going to succeed? Nicely. He played straight into that one. So he had 47 die on us. Those dreadnoughts fought well. They were there for the purpose, innit? Meat shield. Or not so much meat shield. Big armor shield. Calgar launched an attack on the dreadnoughts, which then disables the dreadnoughts. There's 87 of them left, so now they can't attack back. But the rest will. Let's go past their attacks. And right here you see you've got the vanguards launching an attack on the dreadnoughts, the remainder of the dreadnoughts, and it triggers Zealous Assault and orbital disruption. So now they are fully paralyzed and getting some heavy damage on them. It brings them down to the 29. Straight off that though, you see the expirations of orbital. So now after those, the dreadnoughts can attack. Ace, so thank you very much for watching the video. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment if you'd like to. Much appreciated if you do. Bless up.